Yes. Uh, hello. To everyone. Hello to whoever is watching me. I'm really so grateful for your favor, for your offer. Yes, for taking in interest, for having interest to really take time and watch my video, listen to me. I'm really very happy and I appreciate you in advance. Yes, my name is Mokosha Isaac, and I'm a conservation biologist by profession. I'm trained from Makerere University um, under the College of Natural Sciences. Right here, I'm going to discuss briefly about something that is very basic but essential. As a young scientist who is so much interested in environment aspects, recently I have developed passion about issues that are surrounding us, importantly those that relate to environment. I understand today we have got so many things to debate about, to think of, and come up with solutions to them. Things of pandemics like the one that we are confronted with currently, the coronavirus, the things of hunger around the globe, the things of there are quite a number of them, political affairs around the globe, that's democracy and wars around the world. But for me, I will not really go into those ones. I will uh, look at what I feel is also important. Of course, oftentimes uh, we tend to overlook or to basically ignore certain things, and we pay attention to others which we feel perhaps are more need or more wanting than others. And in doing so, we have always been fond of not ready in some areas that turns out to be very essential and very fatal if something happens that we have not yet prepared for. I'm going to talk about environment, and specifically I'm going to be looking at biodiversity conservation. But before I look at that, I know most of us with the today's education system, I understand environment education has been embedded in almost most of education syllabus says at all levels, from the most basic to the high institution of learning. However, I will not use that as an excuse not to brief us about what an environment is. So I would want us to start uh, right away from the very basic background of what an environment is, up to when we shall get to my real issue of concern. As we know, environment briefly is the surrounding of man. That's the most basic definition. An environment is the surrounding of man. And when we talk of the surrounding of man, this includes so many things. This includes things that we have possibly made by ourselves, roads, uh, you know, electric transmissions, but importantly, those that have been put in place by nature. We look at the forests, we look at water bodies, we look at the air, we look at space, air and space, we look at the soil, and many others, plants and animals. So all those components makes up the environment. So today, when you look at our environment as compared to the previous years, you'll find that the things that surround us have been, they have lost their character, their initial character. Like water, you'll find that if we had an opportunity to look at how water was some 20 years, 2 decades ago, and compared to what water is like today, say a particular river in your village or in your district or in your area, If you look at if you had an opportunity to compare that water body, today's characteristics of that water body, to that to those that existed in 20 years back, you'll find a very big difference. You'll find that the volume of that water is quite less than it was then 20 years ago. You'll find that the quality or the appearance, the water color will be quite different. You look at the water banks will be different. If, for instance, you're looking at the river, if you looked at the soil that you're using in particular for your agricultural production, as soil as an environment component, if you looked at it in a serial manner, compared it to the past time, you'll find that it is not actually what it was. You'll find that it has lost. And you see, the most key important feature that you notice there, it will be that whatever component that you make comparison of, you'll find that it has lost its quality. It has lost its quality and quantity, I should say. Now, that tells us that as time passes by, as time goes around, this environment is losing its value. It is losing its value. Now, the point that I want to make in relation to the to environment loss of value with the time is that is related to human's life, healthy, and others as well. So you find that even if you did a comparison, if you did that comparison between the quality of the environment and the quality of life, you find that there is a negative relationship as time moves ahead. Yeah. So you'll find that as this environment components loses their quality and quantity, the life as well, importantly that of man, also becomes poor. It loses that quality. So there is positive relationship, and that brings us to a point of now wanting us to intervene into this environment conservation. That's where the point of environment conservation now comes in. So our concern is we need to do something about the degrading, the deteriorating quality of the environment, quality and quantity of the environment. What should we do? Should we just leave it? I mean, if we left it without an action being taken, it means the life is going to be also very hard for us to live. So that's why we as conservation biologists comes in, as that's why how the discipline of conservation comes up. So we say that the environment has several components, and those that I've mentioned: soil, water, animals and plants and all that. But my particular interest is in biodiversity conservation. So biodiversity is basically a variability, or a variety of life on Earth or in our environment. In our environment, we have got different forms of life. We have got plants of different kinds. We have got animals of different kinds. We have got those that lives on land. We have got those that lives in water. We have got those that are big enough to be seen. We have got those that are quite smaller, and need special maybe techniques to be detected. But importantly, I would be looking at those that do not really need special technique for their observation. And this is biodiversity.